Hey everyone. All right, so this video we're going to look at some of the games that I've been playing and some of the games that I've recently finished, some of the games that I'm playing right now. So let's start by looking at some of the games that I recently finished. All right, so the first one, Elden Ring. So here's the deal. If you know anything about me, you know that I am a pretty big Dark Souls fan. I've got the original Dark Souls on the Xbox 360. I got the Steelbook. I got the Steelbook for Dark Souls 2. And then I got Dark Souls 3 Steelbook. I believe this is actually the PlayStation 4. Don't quote me on that. I don't remember. The game isn't actually in the Steelbook. It's in the thing. The point is, oh, one more. I just got this recently. I got it from playasia.com. It's a Siegmeyer of Katarina. I haven't opened it yet because I don't really know what to do with it. But it's Onion Bro. Check it out, Onion Bro. Anyway, if you know anything about me, you know that I'm a big fan of Souls-likes. Like a really, really big fan of them. And like pretty much if you bring out a Souls-like game, chances are I'll get into it. Chances are I will really enjoy it. So it was kind of a foregone conclusion that I was going to be a big fan of Elden Ring. And I bought it when it came out, and I played through, completed it, beat it. And it was, just a matter of time before I was going to go back and play it again. The thing is, though, it's a really big game. I think my first playthrough clocked in at like 200 hours because I literally did everything. So I didn't immediately jump back and play it again. But this last September, like September 2022, a friend of mine got a PlayStation 5 and picked up Elden Ring. And I had another friend who also had a PlayStation 5 and had Elden Ring. And we made this decision that we were going to go through and replay it completely co-op. Well, me replaying it, the other friend replaying it, the new friend, it was his first time. And, it's kind of hard to get three grown adults who have responsibilities, jobs. It's kind of hard for this, to find the stars to align to where we can really sit down and play. So the end result is that it took us months, and we only just recently beat it, like within the last couple of weeks, last few weeks or so. So this was my second playthrough. I went with a strength build this time. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. The one asterisk here, we also did everything. Like, that was the other thing. And it took so long because you... I don't know how much you know about the way that these Souls games work when you play in co-op, but you... only the host gets progress in the story. So that means in order to play it completely co-op, you have to basically play the game 3 times. And I'm not going to say that, certain people who had already played the game didn't go off on their own and play some stuff solo, but for the most part, we played this in its entirety co-op. And the one asterisk here is, technically speaking, we're not done. Oh, there's a kitty. I finished it. One of the friends also finished it. The third friend, the new friend, the friend that this was his first time playing Elden Ring, we're stuck on his final boss. We can't beat it. And Kitty says hello. And yeah, so we tried really hard to beat it. We're going to have to return to it. One of the friends went on a business trip and has been gone for like 3 weeks. So we need to go back and beat it for the one friend. But anyway, yeah, I really, really, really love this game. In addition to playing Elden Ring again on the PlayStation 5, I also played it here. Ooh. Look at that. So I played it on my Steam Deck. So I, last year, my family and we went on a couple of road trips. And I bought Elden Ring again on Steam with the express purpose of playing it on my Steam Deck on the road. And it's really funny because I actually beat it within a week or so of us beating Elden Ring on the PlayStation 5. So my solo game on the Steam Deck, I somehow managed to time the ending about the same. Amazing how well this thing runs on the Steam Deck. If you have a Steam Deck and you don't own Elden Ring and you're remotely interested in it, you really do owe it to yourself to pick it up, because it's really spectacular on the Steam Deck. Like it's way better. I really wouldn't have expected it to be as impressive as it is on the Steam Deck. My solo Steam Deck build was not so the strength build was on the PlayStation 5. On my solo Steam Deck, I was a weird hybrid caster. I used the Nebula, whatever the sword is that does the Nebula attack that you get from the dungeon that has the big alien guy with the Nebula attack. I don't know all the names. I play too many games. I can't keep track of all these names. Anyway, but I did that, and I also emphasized gravity spells. So it was a really weird, interesting combination, and I had a hell of a lot of fun. All right, so another one I beat recently is Marvel's Midnight Suns. I beat it on the PlayStation 5. It's available for other platforms. This is a, if you don't know what this is, it's a strategy game. It's kind of in, this cat really, really wants to be a part of this video. How about I pull him in? Hey, come here, Jubs. There's Jubs. Jubs wants to be a part. All right, so Jubs, we're talking about Midnight Suns. Do you know what Marvel Midnight Suns is? Do you? So it's a strategy game. It's a strategy game in it's kind of a spiritual successor to the old Marvel's Ultimate Alliance, if you ever played that when it very first came out. It's not, I don't think it's done by the same group. This is done by Firaxis Games. Those are the people who did XCOM. So it definitely has like an XCOM lineage in its DNA. Yes. But so in addition to having like the XCOM style strategy, it also has the battle system is card-based. So it plays a little bit like something like Slay the Spire, combined with an XCOM style game. It's really fun. I really enjoyed it. Unfortunately, it's not done well commercially. Like, critically, it was a darling. But, you don't want to be up here. But it didn't do well commercially. And so even though, you know, a lot of people really liked it, it didn't sell well. So I guess what I'm saying is that I think you should go out and buy this, and we need to make it profitable, because I want a sequel to this game. I'll admit I'm a little biased. I'm a big fan of the Midnight Suns. I have been collecting comics. No, I shouldn't say I have been. I did in the past. In the 90s and the 80s and the 70s, I was collecting comics. And in the 90s, I got all of the Midnight Suns comics. I was a giant fan of the Midnight Suns. So all of the Ghost Riders, all of the Doctor Stranges, all of the Morbiuses, all of the Blades, I had all of those in the 90s. So I guess what I'm saying is I really want this to succeed because I love the stupid franchise. And I think you should go buy it. All right, what else did I finish recently? Another one that I finished recently on the Nintendo Switch was Fatal Frame. Oh, this text is too small. Maiden of the Black Water. It's a survival horror game. It's a remaster-ish. Not sure it's a full-fledged remaster, but it originally came out on. It was either the Wii or the Wii U. I don't remember. Point is it's kind of a retro-style survival horror game in the Fatal Frame franchise. I have to be honest, you know, I kind of went into it expecting to really love it because I was such a big fan of the Fatal Frame games at that time, and I was a big fan of, you know, survival horror in general back in that era. That's like PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2 era. And so I had never played this. So I kind of had maybe unrealistic expectations because I was a little disappointed, if I'm honest. Its pacing, it's really slow. Its movement is really slow. It's just, a little sluggish by today's standards. And not sure I'd recommend it to other people unless you're a really giant fan of the Fatal Frame franchise, or you played it back when and you loved it. What else have I played and beat recently? So this is my Analog Pocket. If you don't know what these are, it's an FPGA-based system that plays Game Boy, Game Gear. No, yes, it does, but with an adapter. But it plays Game Boy Advance natively, and then with adapters you can do, like, you know, Game Gear and Atari Lynx and TurboGrafx 16 and Neo Geo Pockets. Anyway, I picked up recently the Dragon Warrior 1 and 2 cartridge for the Game Boy, and I beat recently Dragon Quest / Dragon Warrior 1. It's the naming is stupid. They used to call it in the States Dragon Warrior. The original name, of course, is Dragon Quest, and now the series is all Dragon Quest. So technically it's Dragon Quest 1, but it was called Dragon Warrior. Anyway, this cartridge has both Dragon Warrior 1 and 2 on it, and I picked it up and beat the first one. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the games that I'm playing right now. And I guess before I begin, I should kind of specify, just to prevent any sort of confusion, I am somebody who tends to play multiple games at once. The reason for this is, you know, I'm a husband, I'm a father, I have a job, a full-time job. I have responsibilities outside of the basement, which is where all my video games are. And so I don't have as much time these days as I used to dedicate to playing video games. Unfortunately, or fortunately, it depends on how you want to look at it. So what I like, the thing is, so I don't have as much time to play video games as I used to. But in addition to that, I'm also somebody who is very mood-driven. And so if I'm not in the mood to do something, it's really hard to get me to do it. You combine those two things together, and you realize, like, I only have, like, so much time to play video games. If I come down here to play a video game and I'm only playing one game, and I'm not in the mood for that game, what the hell am I supposed to do? So I tend to have multiple games going at once, generally in different categories, different genres, so that I can have a nice selection. When I come down, chances are, whatever I'm in the mood for, I'm probably, hopefully, playing something that can scratch the itch. All right, so let's talk about the games that I'm playing right now. First of all, I want to bring this one up. I have a feeling that I'm going to finish this one pretty quickly, because it's not a very big game. This is Space Wing War. This is the limited physical edition by Red Art Games. This is just a little shmup. Honestly, it kind of plays a little bit like the old Fantasy Zone. One sec. It plays like the old Fantasy Zone, if you ever played those back on like the 8-bit Sega Master System, or the SC 1000 or SC 3000, SG 1000. There were all sorts of versions. But these are the Fantasy Zone games. I have them for the Sega Master System. I've got the originals. They're not in the best condition. That one's got a big yuck on it. It's got a big grease pencil. Who does that? And this one's got a sticker. It's a Bookman sticker. Be better, Bookmans. Anyway, my point, before I got all rambly, Space Wing Wars it reminds me a lot of the Fantasy Zone games. It's got kind of a Game Boy aesthetic, and you've got all these different color schemes that you can do. And it's just a shooter, but it's really fun, and it's put out by Red Art Games. And I am really a fan of Red Art Games. They do limited physical editions of otherwise digital-only games. And they have a tendency to pick some really great shmups. Other ones before this that I've really enjoyed of theirs is stuff like Void Gore, Project Starfish. Is that right? Sounds sexual. Not sure that's right. Let me look. Project Starship. It's not Starfish. But the point is they tend to put out these great little independent shmups. And this is yet another one, and I've really been enjoying it so far. But I have a feeling I'm gonna wrap it up pretty quickly, so it's probably not gonna last on this list. The next thing that I'm playing, probably the big thing that I'm playing right now, is the Callisto Protocol. I got the PlayStation 5 version. Now, I do actually have the Dead Space remaster. It's actually behind me. But my thought was, I was a little bit concerned that this would be subpar compared to the Dead Space remaster, so that was one of the reasons I played it first. Another reason I played it first is that Dead Space launched on the PlayStation 5 with some graphical issues. I believe it's a software implementation of their variable rates shader that just basically makes the game look more grainy and pixelated than it should. So I figured that playing Callisto Protocol first was probably the right call. Here's the deal, though. I am really loving this game. Who knows, maybe I will not like it at the end, but as it stands right now, I really, really am loving this. And I do recommend it very highly. If you are a survival horror fan, this is by the original creators of Dead Space, and it is basically Dead Space, sort of. The combat, it has more of an emphasis on melee. And it's got some crazy dodge mechanics that don't quite work the way I would expect them to. But, you know, clunkiness of the melee combat aside, this is an incredible game, and I'm really, really digging it, really enjoying the narrative, really enjoying all of the environments that I've had in the game. It's also, it is probably graphically like the most impressive PlayStation 5 game that I've played. And as you can see, I have a lot of PlayStation 5 games that I've played. And this is just legitimately gorgeous. Not gorgeous. It's really ugly and hideous because it's gross. But graphically, it's impressive. That ugliness and that hideousness is captured beautifully in the tech. So I really, really do recommend this. This is another one just like the Marvel's Midnight Suns that apparently isn't done well commercially. So go out and buy this. This is good. These guys deserve rewards for their effort. It's a very fun game. All right, the next one I'm playing, I'm overplaying this on the Xbox Series X. This is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. This is the Steelbook that I got from Limited Run Games, I think. I don't know. I can't be bothered to go look. But, so here's the deal. I got to tell you something. I am not a Turtles fan. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles became a thing. Like, they really hit the mainstream when I was an adult. I was in my early 20s. And so, this is kind of a little bit after my time. Like, kids that were, you know, maybe a decade younger than me, who are not kids these days, because that means they're in their 40s now, they really got into Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I just didn't. But, of course, I really did like the arcade, and I liked some of the other games. I've got the SNES Turtles, and I've got the Sega Genesis Turtles, very fun games. And so I was going to probably get this, but the reason we got this, I got this at this particular juncture, is because a friend of mine is a giant fan of Turtles. He's actually one of the friends that I played Elden Ring with. And he is about a decade younger than me. And so he wanted to play this together. And so we both bought it, and we've been playing through it on the Xbox Series X. But I will admit, I kind of wish this game was shorter. It kind of goes on a little long for my taste. I was expecting a little tiny, like, arcade thing that we could, like, play in an afternoon and be done. But then, like, we spent an entire Saturday and we weren't done. And I want it to be over. I want to move on. But whatever, we're playing it. It's fun. I'm enjoying it. It's just not, you know, it's Turtles. What the fuck? I don't give a shit about Turtles. All right. Next up on the Xbox Series X, I've been playing the Need for Speed Unbound. So this is the newest game in the Need for Speed franchise. It's done by Criterion, which I'm trying to remember. I think it's been a while since Criterion has done a racing game, if memory serves me. I think that they got bought by, like, Electronic Arts. And didn't Electronic Arts do their typical Electronic Arts bullshit where they put them on a franchise that had nothing to do with their expertise. I want to say they did, but maybe they didn't. I'm just going off my memory. Maybe I'm all wrong. The point is that this is a return to form for Criteria. And this is a very fun game. If you like arcade racers, this is a really fun game. It's got kind of like this cool cartoony, not even cartoony, more like comic book kind of effects that happen as you race around. And it's really fun. I really am enjoying it. It vaguely reminds me of Burnout Paradise, because Burnout Paradise was like this big open world thing where you went around and find races in the city. That's kind of what this is. And I'm enjoying it. It's a lot of fun. Another thing I'm playing right now, Crysis 2 Remastered. I'm playing it on the Nintendo Switch. I picked up, Limited Run Games had like a warehouse sale or something, a New Year's sale. And I hadn't picked up the Crysis 2 Remastered physical editions that they had, but they had them in the sale, so I picked up Crysis 2 and Crysis 3. They come with these gorgeous steel boxes. And again, these are the Nintendo Switch editions. Here's the deal. I'm a big fan of the Crysis franchise. You know, I played Crysis 1, 2, and 3 back in the day. Played them on multiple platforms, owned them on like the Xbox 360, played them on PC as well. The Switch port is rough. It's impressive that they were able to do what they did do with the Switch. But truthfully, it is a very rough game to play in terms of graphic fidelity. It's a very ugly game. The way I would describe it is I have glasses because I'm blind. Not blind, but I need my glasses to see. Playing Crysis 2 on the Switch is like trying to play Crysis 2 without my glasses on. That's the way it looks. It just is this blurry, muddy mess. And I gotta be honest, I'm finding it a little hard to enjoy because of how hideous it looks. Maybe if I played it in handheld, it would look better or be less noticeable as hideous. But my point is, why I'm telling you this, is that even though I do have Crysis 3, I am not sure that I'm going to immediately dive in and play Crysis 3 Remastered, because it's pretty rough. Digital Foundry did like a review of these, and like I said, I'll probably link it in the description, but like I said, it's rough. I am not enjoying it as much as I wanted. Another game I'm playing right now, I already mentioned that I played Dragon Warrior 1 / Dragon Quest 1 on my Analog Pocket. Well, now I'm off into Dragon Warrior 2 land. I have to be honest, I'm not enjoying it as much as Dragon Warrior 1. I don't know what it is. It probably has to do with the fact that it's a larger game. Dragon Warrior 1, Dragon Quest 1 was very focused. I never felt like I was lost. I always knew what I needed to do next. Dragon Quest 2, I am clueless half the time what I need to do. And I spent an awful lot of time wandering around the map trying to recall who told me to go where, because I can't fucking remember. I hate to say it, but I'm probably going to have to pull out a guide. And I mean, I don't have anything against using a guide or people who use guides. I just don't like to use them because I don't really want the spoilers. I like solving the games and solving the puzzles in the games myself without any assistance. And I hate to say it, but with Dragon Quest 2, I might have to pull out a guide, because it's not as clear as Dragon Quest 1. All right, the last game that I'm going to talk about that I'm playing, actually there's two games. They're both on this, sort of. They're both on this. They're both digital, and I do have them on Steam, and I have played them on here. The first one is Salt and Sanctuary. I actually own Salt and Sanctuary physically for the Nintendo Switch. I got the cartridge, I got the case out. I was going to use it as a prop right here, but for the life of me, I don't know what I did with it. I don't know where the hell I put it. It's somewhere. I better find it. Point is, Salt and Sanctuary is one of my favorite games. I played it originally on the Switch, really loved it. I already mentioned that I'm a big fan of Souls-likes. Salt and Sanctuary is the most Dark Souls 1 Souls-like, not done by From Software, in existence. It is really amazing. And it's done by a little a little tiny studio. I believe it's a husband and wife duo. Ska Studios, they did. Back in the day on the 360, they did. I made a game with zombies in it, which is also recently on Steam, I noticed. They also did the Dishwasher Samurai game, if you're familiar with that. Anyway, Salt and Sanctuary is a little Metroidvania Souls-like, and it is so good. It is so deliciously gorgeous. And I've played it multiple times before on my Switch, but when I found out that it was compatible with my Steam Deck, I bought it again on Steam just so that I could play it on my Steam Deck. And I'm enjoying it. It's fun. It's a very fun game. I will admit, I'm not a fan of the build that I've got going on Steam. I tried to do a different build than I've done before, and I'm just not feeling it. But I'll muddle my way through it because it's such a great game. The other game that I'm playing on digitally, on the Steam Deck as well as other platforms, are you all familiar with a little game called Vampire Survivors? All right, so Vampire Survivors is amazing. It is. I don't do Game of the Year things. Maybe I'll do a Game of the Year thing. Who knows? But if I had picked two games, oh, I put it back. If I picked two games to be my top two games of 2022, one would be Elden Ring and the other one would be Vampire Survivors. Vampire Survivors is amazing. It's a roguelite auto battler, but it involves a lot of strategy of figuring out what weapons to use and kind of trying to construct a build, given the RNG nature of the drops. And they're not really drops. They're just, you get a pop-up and you're like, you have to pick things and it's RNG. Although there are drops, but the drops aren't weapons. Regardless, it's incredibly fun. It's something that I've put so many hours into. I've got it on Steam, and I completely 100%ed it there. Then it came out for Xbox Game Pass. I played it on PC on the Xbox Game Pass. And then the DLC came out, and I bought the DLC for all of them. And now I've been playing it again on the Xbox, and they've recently come out with it on the mobile, on the cell phones. And it's like, I don't normally play games on the cell phone, but I do have what is it, the Kishi Razor things that go on the side and becomes a handheld system. And it works with that game. So I have been playing it again on mobile and unlocking everything, and I love it. And it'll probably be one of those games that's just always, every single update that I ever do like this might include Vampire Survivors for the foreseeable future, because it's fun. I've actually gotten into this thing where I've like unlocked everything, and it's like, what am I going to do next? What am I going to challenge myself next? I've come up with all these little things to challenge myself. Like there's a character called, I think he's called Redash. He's like a little, no, he's a ghost. He's a white ghost. I don't remember his name. I'll probably put a text, look it up when I'm editing, uploading. His name's here. Anyway, he's only got like maybe 9 hit points, and so he's kind of hard to play. And my challenge is I have a very specific build with him, where I start with his base weapon, which is the birds, and then I add the 2 shooty things that shoot out the corners. I don't remember what they're called, but their ultimate is they turn into this thing that spins. And then I do the 2 whips, which the ultimate combines together into a single thing. And then I do, fuck, what do I do? Oh, the onion. I do the onion. And then I do the axes. The point is by doing this, I can, like, you start out and it compresses your weapons, and you can add more weapons. And it's a challenge playing it as the little character with no hit points. But anyway, I got on a little sidetrack. The point is I really love the game. And if you haven't played Vampire Survivors, you really should. It's on Game Pass. If you've got Xbox or Windows Game Pass, like, you just go play it right now. It's also super duper cheap, so even if you don't, just buy it. I don't know what its price is right now. I think now that it's officially released, they've raised the price. Back when I got it, it was like $2. It might be like $5. Regardless of whatever the price is, it is worth it. It has got a lot of enjoyment, a lot of fun. Get the DLC. It's very fun. It's a great little indie game, and I enjoy it. So that's what I'm playing right now. I don't know how to stop this. How do you stop these videos?